Hey everyone, hope you're well. Hope no one got caught up too much today on the crazy numbers that come out. Just gonna reload these. Mm, 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 mm. If you've been taking any trades, what trades have you been in today? It's been a pretty intense day with just basically straight line. I'll need to put this in 5 minutes so we can see, but it's been an absolute straight line today. Very little pullbacks since the open. I'm quite glad that I've not been trading, to be honest. There's been zero fades so far. I had a short earlier today at the CPI print. I got short up in here. We got out over here, and then we took a couple of fades up here, and that was us for the day. To be honest, then volume tapered off, and we just went bid completely. So we're going to refresh the DOMs. And look up refresh delta and see what's happening. It's a massive trend day. We're just at initial balance, the initial balance extension. We're just going to have a look to see how treasuries is done. So treasuries have gone pretty much bid as well. We're just coming up to the IB high. We'll refresh these as well. So we'd expect to see a bounce here off the initial balance high, but we'd ultimately want to see a tick down and everything. We'll go back to the ladders here for this equities. So if this is your first time in the stream, let me know what you're watching. Do you want me to run over certain parts of the charts, what you're seeing? But if you were trading today, I hope you were long, unless you were fading the open, which has been the biggest pullback of the day. There's just so much buying, to be honest. You know, there's been delta in every price, to be honest with you, positive delta. It'll be interesting to see if any of these orders are pulled when they're hit up here. Because you can see that this sell off in delta here, if we put it here, Sellers aggressively tried here to sell off, and the market's just barely moved. So buyers have just been absorbing all of this negative delta here. I mean, the market literally didn't move. Yeah, delta dropped, like 6k delta. So 6k was absorbed on this price, and then now we're just grinding higher. Did anyone take any trades today? If you did, what markets were you in? Did you get beat up? Did you take any stops? Did you manage your positions okay or not? How do you feel like you executed? Because that's the main thing. Losing is okay, it's part of the game, but how did you manage your positions and execute? So we'll see here if the ES wants to break these highs again. NQ's trying. Seeing a slight tick down. So the interesting observation of how we're at these highs at the moment is, granted there is positive delta, okay, and there has been aggressive buying, but delta should be following price. We're not at a high, so again, buyers have absorbed here, like we discussed, and now they're buying to take price up. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the buying is that aggressive. It just means that in order to get here, the offer has been pretty weak, so there's been a number of orders been pulled. So we're seeing a bit of a fight here. So you can see there was 1,261 contracts executed on the offer, which means sellers were happy to absorb all of that. But we're now seeing a continual drilling motion in here. If this is to go high, there shouldn't be that many stop levels up here, to be honest, considering. So we're just seeing a continual grind higher at the moment, and it's actually the worst price action, because unless you're buying and holding, you've not really got a chance to get in, because you get screwed either way, right? If you just decide to buy this now, it will end up coming back. The only way this is going to work is if you take a really small position and hold. But then we're now 7 o'clock in the day, so the day's already done. Really, there's what, 2 hours left of the session. So it's interesting to see that we're ticking off here after all of this absorption. We had 317 positive delta, 226, 123, and the guts of nearly 2k In fact, actually 3k contracts executed an offer and could not crack. So this is the conditions where if we are to sort of pull back, and fill out this sort of range down here that we've at least traded out a little bit, this is the chance now for the shorts, if any sellers to happen. This is the time where they need to start getting in aggressive and to at least pull price back down into this sort of range if they are to. So the only position, if you're a perma bear, then this is the only shot that they've got right now. So they need to see the bids need to be starting to be pulled. So we'll refresh this. Okay, bids need to start being pulled if they've been hit into, which they're not. 66 has been executed as the bid, 81, and it's just been refreshed. So they've taken the full amount. So you're seeing here the buyers are still happy to absorb at this price. So it's then ticked down. We're just then seeing sellers trying to drill in, but buyers are just continually refreshing. So you need to see these orders being pulled as they go down, and then the tick down in NQ is helping. But they are starting to be pulled, which is good. So you're seeing, when there's 130 here, for example, and price goes down and hits into it, if orders are pulled in only 60 trades, it means that these orders are fake, as an example. So you need to note that when you're looking at the DOM to see the actual action that's running through. Because not all of these orders down here are people actually genuinely waiting to buy, or here are not waiting to sell either. A lot of these orders don't exist. So you actually need to wait and see a lot of the time what happens when price gets there. The ones that are sitting there for a long time are more than likely wanting to get filled. So we can see now the buyers are just aggressively again hitting here. We just refresh this and it's still 342 executed an offer. So this is a level before that couldn't crack. So we had 2,000 contracts or so absorbed in these three prices. So now we've revisited, couldn't break. Now you want to see this selling going in and then orders being pulled. But we're just seeing this three price range, drop three, back up three. This is the same price action, to be honest, the whole week. So do you see what I'm saying with this? Yes, the buyers, when buyers are hitting into the offer here, they are somewhat absorbing, but then you're just seeing this constant battle, and it's never good to be selling as such when you're at these high prices and you see all this absorption. You want to be seeing a clean run where sellers get aggressive here and they hit into the bid, and then orders are pulled, and then it ticks down. This, 1,000 contracts are about to be traded, and the market's just ranging around. It's just extremely bullish behavior. Buyers are happy to absorb at the minute what everything is, all of the selling that's going on. And the only way that the market is going to drop, to be honest with you, is whoever is happy to absorb on the bid here, these thousands of contracts, they need to stop, to be honest with you. So they need to be out of the way in order for sellers to basically take this down. But the hard part of when the market is like this is you're not seeing continual motion either way. It's not like great, it's went bid, but the market is going, it's hitting into the bid, and then we're just seeing constant fluctuation between. Now you would think now that we've just cleared that high that we're going to see the market go straight bid even more, but typically if you watch this price action, NQ pulls off like this and this will tick down three ticks, for example. you know so the market is clearing the highs, and then we're just seeing this gradual uptick. There's no sudden volume movement. the catalyst for ES to pull off 3 or 4 ticks is always NQ, probably pulling off like 15 typically. So if you just joined the stream, make sure and hit the like button for me. If you're not yet subscribed, press the subscribe button. Do all those cool YouTube things for me. Much appreciated. Now, next port of call for the buyers. Let's see if they can take out the 330 evens area where these orders are sitting. It's going to be quite a big ask for any consistent price action at the moment. I mean, I'd be curious to hear how you guys are actually trading this and executing at the moment. You know, are you just going with small position sizes and holding as a day position, or are you still scalping out your 10 to 15 ticks, 20 ticks a day? You know, what are you doing? Because this is the same, you know, from the previous session that we had. Um, I typically have been trading. All the volume is done in the first 2 hours. Then you've got a lull, and then you're either on the right side. It's just been chopping recently, but we've had a bid day today. Now you maybe look at that price action and think, oh, look at that straight line, great day. But where are you entering that? Do you know what I mean? Like there's not really been a clear. The market's broke this level, you know, then just grinded. We've not really had any significant pullback. I mean, I suppose it's tested that. If you were looking to bid, are you not going to wait for a little bit more of a pullback there? The markets then went straight bid again. We've had the absolute tiniest pullback, and the hardest thing when the market goes in this straight line is it can very easily come down the same way, to be honest. So we've not really had a proper retest of this breakout area yet, you know. And the one thing that happens is when you go, you know, the market goes offered all the way up here, right? Essentially, and if you these tiny pullbacks, there's not a lot of value that's built up on the way up. So with areas that are not really traded out and have not got tons of volume done, the market tends to blow through them pretty easily. But we've been one time framing now since the whole session. You know, there's not been one session or one 30-minute period. If I zoom in a little bit, then you can see this. There's not been one 30-minute period yet. So we've had A, B, C. Every period is pretty much one time framing. You know, so a bad day for the bids, honestly. Relentless bid all day. Traded micro NQ swings flat. Few losers. Waiting to see close behavior. Yeah, exactly. I mean NQ. I don't need to look at an NQ chart, but NQ is pretty much will be fairly similar to this, maybe with a few deeper pullbacks, as it usually is wild. But it's, you know, I took a trade in bonds this morning, or treasuries, and I took a couple of trades in ES. Um, you know, had an okay session, but it seems to me that I'm making my most money in the first 2 hours recently. I normally was able to trade the PM session really well, but how volume, there's not been a shit ton of volume, you know, for because right now we're like what, 2 o'clock US, so there's a bit of delta divergence going on here. You know, the market's made highs, aggressively sold off, you know, and now we're just about to breach those highs up here. Typically, when you're seeing that, the delta is meant to be falling. I just muted my mic there. That was clever. So delta is meant to follow price, and typically when you see delta, making making a high, and then it's made a lower high here, but then price is just going straight one way. There's two main ways that you can see from this. So the amount of sellers really tried here to aggressively push price back, and buyers just absorbed it all. You know, the only, in my opinion, the only players that are making money in this market is it's not really retail, unless you traded a couple of micro contracts and just held the whole day. But if you did that, then good for you. You know, very difficult price action to trade, and that's half the battle. If you're relatively new to trading, um, knowing what market you're in and knowing what type of day type you're in is very important. You know, and if you make all your money, you know, in the first couple of hours of open, then just you're done for the day. I'm coming on here just to chat with you guys, hang out, wouldn't necessarily be taking any positions. Something really nice does arise, but this is just not appealing, to be honest with you. The only players that seem to be winning for here is the market making firms, to be honest with you. I think if price does the level that I would expect price to be at least having some form of reversal, or at least have a pullback if we do get there, would be here. I'm just going to draw. So this sort of level here, I would expect us if we can get up there. Okay, that's a good question. So preferred market conditions for me is typically when the VIX is higher. Ranges are a little bit bigger. The market's more fluid through prices. You know, just how order flow comes in. Um, and what I mean by that is you're getting in a position and the market's moving, you know, 10, 15 ticks smoothly, you know, and you're not having this constant revisiting of prices. You know, I don't need to narrate it, but you'll see, for example, look, the price, the market here goes bid, right? Granted, there's orders being pulled shown on the DOM, but you're not seeing this cracking price just aggressively cracking. You're seeing the market going bid, you know, hitting a level. It goes up two ticks. NQ then pulls off, you know, and then ES drops three ticks. Do you know what I mean? It's not exactly ideal for what's happening. This is just happening all the time. For me, these market conditions are not exactly ideal. And we are seeing a little bit more of a bid now. So this level up here, this is slightly better. This where you know the market should be lifting the offer, right here, and it should just be cracking through these prices. You know, and the offer should be standing out the way. It should be pulled, you know, like that. That exact motion. It should be cracking through prices and seeing. Now this is the level I had drawn. Let's see if we can see some absorption up here and see how the market does. But that price action that you noticed there in ES, where it's cutting through prices, you know, you're seeing orders been pulled, and the market's just fluid. You know, you're not seeing it go up a few ticks like that. That's the exact sort of motion you want to be seeing. You know. So we're just taking out that large order that was there. You would expect now to see after that there should be a little bit of a sell-off here for the level I had drawn. I'm not saying it's going to work by any means, but that was what I was roughly looking at. So we'll clear these so you guys can have a look, and we'll clear the delta as well. So now the difference here is the offer is now stacked, right? So we want to see now absorption on the offer. So basically buyers trying to buy and sellers are then happily to absorb. And you want to see continue right now. So NQ is hitting the bid, right? So you want to see that crack so that there be a correlation and a tick down and everything. Now this type of behavior you want to be seeing. So you want to be seeing reloading on the offer and hitting into the bid, and you want to see orders being pulled. It's nice fluid price action. So like NQ is exhibiting it right now. Like, wow, that's a lot of negative delta just come in right there. That was actually a good trade. It's a shame. See, this is it. So you're seeing the reloading of the offer, right? And then the market should be going bid, hitting into the bid, and then it should be having orders pulled. The fact that there was just the guts of 1,000 negative delta just come in, and then buyers are just like, we're still happy, you know. But it's all typically conducive because NQ, when NQ pulls off, there we go. This is more like it. So we see the bid been weak, so you want to then see the reloading and then continue hitting into the bids, but then the order's been pulled and NQ catalyst at the same time causes the dump. And this is looking pretty weak at the moment. Everything is ticking down right now. The correlations are extremely important. BS has not been giving it to you in a plate as of late. You're having to hold through a few painful trades, that's the thing. We're good. We're good. How are you doing? Good to see you again. How's your day been? So we just saw a nice little drop in ES. It's the biggest pullback we've had in about 2 hours. But if you're wondering how I was able to effectively call this here, right, it's because of where the large orders were situated. You know, the market will want to go out and fill out those large orders, and it allows whoever was buying on the way up, they need to get out with the limit orders because they're not gonna exit a market. You know, so they had to go out with limit orders. Once they're filled, you then have probably the same firm then working the offer. To be honest. And one thing you'll never realize because you don't see this when you're trading and it never comes in to your actual aspect, but a lot of the time, market making firms are actually working both ways in the market. You know, I don't think if you've probably ever thought about it that way, but you'll have a firm, work the bid, so they'll stack prices like this, right? They'll engineer liquidity, okay, and then they'll if they get price to go bids and drive price up as an example, and the offer is weak, And then when it gets to a level, they then need to start getting out of their buy positions. And in order to get out of their buy positions, they need to sell. So they need to buy into that price in order to sell. And then along the way, they actually generate liquidity by more people buy, more people sell, And then when it gets to a level where they've actually got enough out of their positions, and it typically happens where large orders are in, it happens at swing points, you know, essentially they'll then flip and then start working the offer, you know, and then they'll start doing the exact same. And then it just goes in roundabouts like that all day, every day. Exactly. So I'm glad. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, so I can see that that's happening. But then here's the thing. See, when the market conditions are better, I would be all over that. It's hard. The thing is, when I can identify these levels, but I don't know that that was just going to go straight bid all the way down, like hitting into the bid. This is more like it. You want to see orders been pulled like this, right? Well, not really like this. You want to see the sellers hitting into the bid here, pulled, ticking down. You want to see this go, but then we get a tick back up. You know, this is the problem with ES. NQ is dropping there, but then ES is just going down a few ticks, back a few ticks. And we'll see how the market responds at this area, right? Well, let me copy this 50 lot here. Copy and move. This is the only large size it's showing, to be honest, all the way down here. Now, it would be a nice sell-off because we are fucking extremely overextended here. The trouble is, I don't see how the stock market is this high, considering where we are in the world. But I say that every time, and the market just goes bid. So it doesn't, you can't really have any bias. You just need to trade the order flow that comes in. Because at the end of the day, you can have the best bias in the world, but if big players are not doing what you're thinking, who cares? So NQ needs to clear out these orders down here. So the trouble is, if NQ clears these out, we should see a tick down in ES. So we need some size to come in. We've just seen 60 absorbed on the bid on NQ. If NQ clears here, then ES will work its way down. Everything is ticking down, so it's looking likely right now. Some size to come into equities, and then this would tick down. So ES is relying on these other pairs at the same time. I know I harp on about this a lot in the streams, but it's very, very important. So ultimately, if you're still looking to sell and you do get a pullback here, you can potentially get a better sell position up here. But then you need to watch more for the absorption. And this is back to again with the price action that you're seeing. When the VIX is higher, this shit doesn't happen. The market goes down, it just cracks a level. You then see orders pull. It's painless trading. You know, these trades that you're in here where you're seeing, off the market goes offer, market goes bid. The market then ticks up, then you see more hitting into the bid. You know what I mean? It's how you meant to know what's happening there. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not fluid at all. I'm good too. The session not so great. I close negative. Ugh. Well, the thing is, man, how did you feel about it? How do you feel? Are you okay with being negative in a day? Are you beating yourself up about it? I hope you're not, because we all have negative days, man. I had a negative day on Monday, had a positive day, and then turned into negative like an absolute dick. You know, these things happen. Chalk it up. As long as you come back the next day, that's the main thing, my friend. Don't beat yourself up so much about it. So this is interesting. Bid up in ES and NQ, but the Dow and Russell are not really moving. So this could be the opportunity to sell back into this. So we'll refresh this here and actually see if there's more absorption. But the fact that these equities here are not bidding up, they've got the NQ, the POC in Russell, but we're now seeing them tick up, and it's been brought up by NQ. Always the same. So do you see what I mean though? If unless you absolutely tick to high here, right, and you got in roughly where my little lines that are drawn, is the area we thought we'd see a reversal. Unless you get in round about here, the trade's now done. You'd have taken your 15 ticks, but the trouble is, you had to absolutely nail that. If you thought, right, this is selling off, there's some volume coming in, we'll sell down here. Now, before you know it, price is back halfway before it starts. There's just no, like I'm saying, you're not really getting that much action one way. And the trouble is with this, like looking to buy this, whereabouts would you be buying? I know you can look at volume profile. You maybe look down here. This is a slightly higher volume node. Maybe look to buy here. So you again need to look for absorption, but it's not easy. Okay, so we can see this go down in NQ here. Now we're going to go down to see if we can fill out these 50 lots here. We've seen the Dow and the Russell not really move. So the general theory was if the offer can be absorbed here, okay, they can absorb what buyers are throwing at them, and then we need to see some more pulling as well. But continual refreshing, to be honest, on the resting bids. I can't imagine too much is going to happen until power hour. Right, now would be the opportunity for yes. If NQ can drop here, we should see this tick down. There we go. There, see that? See, there was 100. There was 100 showing on the bid there. If you could rewind that, 100 showing on the bid, 67 cleared. Right, so 40 was pulled. You know, that's the type of action you need to be seeing at these prices. So you want to be seeing sellers crack into this, orders pull, then it ticks down. Sellers crack in, orders pull. This is more like it. Sellers continually crack in, and you want to see the bids been pulled. This is how you see a fluid motion through the market. But then again, we just then take down 3 ticks, back up. You know, shocking, honestly. You'd be hard pressed, right? Seriously, to find people that are making a killing in these type of markets like this. You need to just be buy and hold, to be honest. Yeah, so a good entry. I know this is very cliche, but you're better, in my opinion. So say when you see a high, right? So for example, it depends on the size that you're going for. I mean, I suppose as a context, are you talking about trading order flow, or are you talking about holding it for a day trade? All depends. What are you? Give me a little bit more context for that, so I can provide you some more information, because the entry for what, I suppose, right? If it's for what we're looking at regarding order flow, then I can elaborate on that for you. Mm, mm, mm. So if it's going to be regarding this specific order flow you're seeing, right? So you really need, of course, you know that we're not moving the markets, right? These guys are executing hundreds of contracts, and we're executing, four at best, right? We've got absolutely no say in this market, absolutely none whatsoever, right? So that's the hard truth. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. We are like an absolute ant in the market. If every single person that is trading in retail probably all put in one lot at the same time, it still wouldn't make a difference. To be honest with you. So you need to start putting your thinking cap on here, right? Because this is a game of theory and a game of poker, right? These charts that you're seeing, the depth of market, is basically a mental game between humans and computers, right? That's what it really boils down to. It's an auction, okay? And honestly, the game is not fair. These people have billions and billions at their disposal. They've got the most smartest people in the world. They've got PhDs in computer science to write their algorithms and coding for them. So the chances of beating that is going to be pretty difficult, right? That's why creating algorithms to put into future markets you're going to quite struggle with unless you're drawing out support and resistance lines like these, for example. Now, in order for an entry, you need to think where would you look to get in if you were a large trader? Okay, the trading done with one contract. Okay, good. So I'm already talking about that. So if I said to you right now, forget you had your one contract to execute, right? If I said to you right now, you had 400, well, let's ignore 400. Let's just take an arbitrary number. Let's say you had 1,000 contracts here to execute, right? And you had to execute them on the sell side, right? Are you just going to go right now and just dump 2,000 or whatever sell in here? You're not going to do that. You're going to come up with a strategy and plan in order how to execute them because you can actually start moving the market. These guys don't have the luxury of just pressing sell or just going, oh hey, I want to sell here. Let me just click on the offer, get filled one contract, and then off they go, right? These guys have to start thinking they need to engineer liquidity so that they can actually get their fills. And whereabouts is the most volume going to be at each point in the chart, right? If I go down, I'll go down to the 1 minute and we'll see. And there's a reason why I drew these lines and I'll explain it a little bit more. So if we go to the 1 minute, okay. Now whereabouts it's kinda hard to say this when you guys text type, but I'll answer it for you. Okay. If you had to sell, right, ultimately your best point to be selling is going to be round about these prices, exactly where I had drawn my lines, because you'd seen that on the market as to where they were saying with some large size. Now, if the market respects that area and there was a blip into that price, that if you remember we saw there was an aggressive hit there, that typically some stop orders have been triggered, right? And that allows those, you, for example, with your 2,000 contracts, you get to hit into them and you get to take the other sides of those trades, right? So, as a general theory, large traders are always getting involved, like here, right? They will have, in fact, let me use my little trusty rectangle. Large traders will have orders here, okay? They'll have a number of bids here, okay, that they want to get executed, which is buying orders, and all the people, right, that are buying, they get stopped out, they need to sell to get out of the position, which then means gives the liquidity of the buyers to get in. Does that make sense? Because for every buyer there has to be a seller, for every seller there has to be a buyer. There has to be someone that's taking the other side of the position, right? So at these inflection points in the market, so if you draw here, and that was how I had this line up here, because the large orders were shown, they kind of give you a little bit of a clue. But typically in the market, you want to come down to this level, you want to see markets sweep into it with a little bit of aggression, okay? You want to see some absorption and large orders getting triggered, and you want to see the market go back above the level, just as an example. So right now I've been talking, but this is we're seeing NQ dumping. And now we're back at this level of drawn. Okay, let's see if the market can crack. Instantly back down. We then see the market tick up at these points. The market will typically redraw off these levels. NQ's more volatile, so it pops off 15. NQ pops off 3 or 4. Now, if this is to go lower, sellers need to start hitting in aggressively here, and they need to try and get in, take these out. Now, the trouble for us is we don't know how much more this guy has behind him. Okay, we're going to refresh here and then clear this so we can see. Let's watch the order flow around here. Okay, so we're seeing a seller's aggressively hitting. Okay, orders pulled. So you want to see this been taken out, but it's not as ticked up. So you want to see if this is to clear this aggressively, you'd want to see sellers start hitting in, and price and orders been pulled. But right now it seems that buyers are happy to be stacking here for the time being at least. Hey, if you read comments, say hi night. Nightfall, hi night. How's it going? Um, so yeah, does that make sense on the on whereabouts to see? Your specifically if you need to be putting your large trader hat on. Whereabouts would you be looking to get in? And typically, everyone else that doesn't think of that theory, they're going to have all their stops here. And then people then complain about, oh, these algos and stuff, they go for my stops. They don't, they just go for the obvious places in the chart. It's always at swing points. This is where you always see volume, you see liquidation, you see new orders come in, and it's even better for you where if you see the price then snap back, and then if you start seeing sellers trying to hit in, but there's absorption, you know? Does that make sense? I mean, you could as well, if you're looking to, like we said, the market went bid earlier, we then got a pull back, and the sort of key giveaway was the fact that the Russell and the Dow didn't really move, and then price come up here, and then you need to see more absorption on the offer, and then sellers starting to get aggressive. But it's not that easy to spot because we're not seeing this fluid motion where it's really simple where bids are just been pulled, market's been hit into, you're constantly seeing multiple prices revisited, and it's hard. This is why I think you need to trade 2-3 hours a day and really focus, because you can't sit and analyze this all the time, and it's actually even harder, by the way, to stream and do this. You know. So no, I read the comments, man. I'm more here to build a community so that we can all learn more and to stop people making to try and shorten people's learning curve, to be honest with you, because I've been doing this for a long time. So if I can shorten someone's learning curve and you guys get value out of it, then happy day, right? And if you're watching and you're new to OrderFlow, let me know or leave a comment. This is the place where you start to learn. See, this is now never good for the sellers, right? We're seeing the offer being pulled. So if buyers are to take this, but there's just not a whole lot of volume in general. So these levels that I had drawn out, right, where these large orders are, the market needs to be extremely aggressive to break them. So typically, if people front run these orders as well, you need to see how price reacts when it gets there as well. Yes, I have a Discord. It's if you go to my about page or something on YouTube, there's the link to Discord is there. There's also a link there to buy me a coffee. If anyone would like to buy me a coffee, I should maybe change that to beer. I really need to sort this mic out, but it keeps on dying. It's quite irritating. But yeah, hopefully that makes some sense. Basically, when the market's in chop, you're just going to see this constant revisiting of prices. You're then, if say for example with this trade up here, right, where we seen this, if you were to take this, the confirmation of this, you should be right. I'm talking like you should be right within 30 seconds of being in that trade. Like that's how quick we're talking. You know, if you start getting in this trade and you're holding at this level for 3-4 minutes, you're wrong. Get out. The market should not be absorbing, gathering prices. Spending minutes and minutes here, 10, 15 minutes, for example. If that's the case, it's just essentially gathering more orders, and then you've got more orders to then stop run against. So it's not the behavior you want to be seeing. When the market does these blips into prices, stops get hit, you need to see absorption, this example, absorption in the offer, and then you need to see sellers starting to become aggressive and hitting diagonally into the bid. You know, and what makes a really good catalyst for that trade is if the bid gets pulled. So like this, you want to see, let's clear just happening. You want to see like that. You want to see cutting through prices, then they clear the next one, right? That's the type of behavior. If you have orders been pulled and then you have some correlations to help you, that's all the catalyst for a quick and painless trade. You get in at those levels and then you're out for your 15 ticks, and you should very rarely even have a couple of ticks of drawdown if you can time it correctly. With beer, you see it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I'm actually a really big coffee fan. I've got an espresso. That's terrible. I should know what that is. It's the Carista. Is that what it's called? An espresso Carista, I think. A Carista Pro. That's it. Really, really good coffee machine. To be honest with you, fantastic. I normally start the day with a couple of espressos. Gets me going. Get myself, in the zone. But I'm finding the more and more, actually, the older I'm getting, to be honest with you, I'm finding that I'm better just been trading 2 or 3 hours a day because I can't stress this enough. This, believe it or not, is bloody taxing on your brain, right? Because all of this is important. You need to be. I'm not analyzing what's happening in the Russell and the Dow exactly. I'm just looking to know which levels are they getting stuck at. Are they at the point of control? What are they doing? No, no, you're very welcome. You're welcome, man. So you're as I was saying, it's pretty taxing to do this. NQ is extremely wild. For me personally, this is just me. I prefer thicker markets, which is a catch-22 to be honest, because thicker markets, I hate this, low VIX nonsense where like this, for example, just prices are trading multiple all the time. It's up and down, up and down. You're not seeing any clean movement. NQ, you know, it's just harder to read, to be honest, because it's so volatile. I'll clear these. So you can see NQ. Look at the resting bids and offers. The market is so thin. 20, 23, 16 contracts is making the market sweep a few prices. This is just traded 40 contracts, not even moved. So NQ is extremely thin. So it's probably, like, I would say maybe 4 times as volatile as maybe even more than that. So now is the behavior. So NQ is ticking down. We should see this here aggressively hitting into the bid, but then and then these orders been pulled. So this is another level as well, which actually I think it's right at here. So the next point, if sellers are to try and do anything today and at least get back, um, at least get back down into this sort of range, They're going to need to first crack this level, right? Which we've seen the market already tick up off of. You know, the market went down here, ticked it, and then went bid aggressively up to about, I think the market went up to about this level up here roughly, and now we've just been ranging in between here. Nice, well, I'm glad you guys like it, to be honest with you. See, I think that's the thing is what I've noticed, and I'm hoping is providing you value because when I started doing this, you know, going on to TradingView and pulling up a candlestick chart and drawing lines and stuff, you know, I think I when I started like 10 years ago, I was doing support and resistance. I was doing some market maker methods rubbish, you know. Um, and I found as I got more and more into trading, I was like, right, there has to be a reason why certain support and resistance levels are working. Why are some holding? Why do large traders always make not always make money, but why do they consistently trump the markets and retail don't? And then I thought, right, if you look at any bank that's trading, any big institution, what are they going to be caring about? Because they're the guys that move the market. Look at the COT reports, the Commitment of Traders reports is released every Friday. It's those are the guys that move the market. Retail is swing significant and needs to be trying to trade or identify the places of which these large we're selling off these large traders get involved. You know, and you need to then think. I've played a lot of poker in my time, and this is kind of like a game of poker, to be honest. Everyone is battling against each other. Everyone is trying to take money from each other and trying to steer the market. And everyone's betting on something, right, that they don't even know what's going to happen, to be honest. Everyone is trying to play out a probability of what they think is going to happen next. You know, you're betting on um, information, you know, of what you believe is going to happen next. Now, big funds have a lot more data and a lot more information and bigger analysts than us. This should be going right now. Think you can pop here, then this should be going down and see what we can do when we get to these levels. We're going to need a lot more size in order to break through these right now. So we've seen the orders pulled there, and it's ticked back up. Uh, Seriously, it interrupts my flow when we can't just get some clean price action. You know, I would love to see it as a demonstration. I'll need to dig up some of the old videos and try and run through the exact flow. There's actually a video I caught with the price action really clean for you to be seeing. So you use Bookmap with Jigsaw. Nice. I mean, Jigsaw DOM's good. Definitely take advantage of the text thing, the text column. It's a good feature. Momentum tails are quite handy. Right, moment of truth. Let's quickly clear this and see. We've already seen the 200 absorbed. Let's see if they can crack here. So ultimately, the bid has been pulled to get down here, right? Now, the people that worked the offer to drive price down here, they ultimately want to try and get out here because we've got a mini, like a little mini rectangle. The ultimate swing point for this is here, but we should probably see a little mini pop down here and then go back up for another 4 or 5 ticks. This is what the market does. It just goes from little swing point to swing point, and then offers get pulled, bids get pulled, you know. So the one thing right now that we can see if I do this, sellers are starting to come in aggressively here if we look at Delta. So in order for this to crack here, NQ needs to drop. But NQ's got this price here. We'll see how that reacts. Let me get my little tool. Oh, that's not worked. It's because I need to do it here. So NQ used this level here, ticked off it where the large order is, and then it's gone. See that? Just been pulled. That 40 lot that was there, gone. So that's a prime example, right? If we use that as an example, someone placed that there as a we'll call it a spoof, right? But that market ticked off that, and other traders saw that or in algorithms and pushed price up off it. That guy who's carried out that order, his business is now done. He's like, I've got the market up now. That one order type that never even get filled is now caused the market to go up here. With engineered liquidity and prices then went bid, right? And then in the meantime, ES is now up here as well. And now we're seeing offers been pulled. But now we're seeing this 100 lot up here. Let's see the market. It's now been pulled. So, honestly, man, these guys are fucking at it. Seriously. No wonder they can't disclose who's actually taking the positions, because I bet you it's one or two firms that basically do this all day, every day. They're doing it to get people in, stop people out, do everything all the time, you know? And you need to try and think about what they're doing, because this is not a fair game. Now, I'm not saying it's manipulated. I'm not one of those ICT maniacs that run around saying, oh, they hunt my one lot stop. You know, they're fighting against each other. They're not fighting against us. We've got, no say in what the market does, but they're playing a different game than what we are. You know, they're probably trading. They're trading probably more in an open, right, than we are our whole life trading. So a completely different game. You need to start putting your thought process into that, and it'll help you execute more. Exactly, exactly. Citadel is one of the biggest market making firms. So you need to watch out for these, and this 50 lot is still here. I reckon what's going to need to happen in order for price to crack here, whoever's absorbed in these firms need to essentially start pulling their orders. I'm going to clear this because it's harder to see. But you need to see these 100 lots here. You need to see the market been hit into it and nothing trade. You know, they're constantly just reloading each price. So there, tick down, and then the markets went bid because NQ is now ripping. So now if we get high enough, now we're going to potentially, if we zoom in a little bit, the next little stop point for all these people that thought this was going to break, the next stop point is going to be, let me get another little juicy little triangle, copy and move here. So the next little triangle, sorry, not triangle, rectangle, is going to be here. We're going to see quite a lot of stops round about here if we can break. So watch how the market does when it gets up to this area. Now what price is this going to be? 326.25. 326. So we're looking about this area. So yeah, it's 326 and 327. Okay, so about 4 or 5 tick range. Yeah, so about here. So anyone that gets short here is now in the hole. So they're now down 10 ticks. Okay. If the market wants to go up, they take out these orders and then they drive it back down. NQ is the one that's basically making the market go bid. But this is the rough range that we're looking at right now. This is like what, a 20 tick range or something. And I'm not saying I take every one of these trades, but if I was looking to go long, Don't get me wrong, you're going to enter this sometimes and you're going to get steamed. You know, the market's going to come down here, you're going to have your bid here and you see some absorption. Then sellers will just come in and just aggressively hit market and then you're out. That happens. But the time where you can get in here, your stop should be really tight, you know, and then you get to then target up to here and you're getting a good trade. You only need to hit one of these trades a day and you're done. 20 ticks or so and you're done. You can take 20 ticks multiple trades and pay more comms, or you can try and have one smoother trade. It's great when you have like a last Friday session, it was painless. So until the market gets to one of these little areas, the reason why I drew this box a little bit bigger is because this is another stop. Because it's so close, people would likely put the stop here. And if the market then does book it up here, so these are the three main points that big players are going to start to look to sell. And then buying, we've got down here. So if you can see there, that is pretty much where you're going to see some more flow come in, to be honest. Make sense? So you've got that rough idea, and you do that in a chart because that's where everyone is going to place their stops and where their trades are invalidated. And then you refer to the DOM of what's happening, and then you use correlations. What do you guys think? Does that make sense? I can see there's a number of people watching. You've not yet hit the like button. If you could hit that button, please, I'd appreciate it. While your thumb or mouse is at the like button, the subscribe button is right next to it. So just drag your mouse or finger across and click it. It means a lot to me and takes you 2 seconds. So I'd appreciate if you could do that. It's free. You're added to the list. You get notified if you want to come in and talk markets. Provide you a lot of value in the Discord as well. You can come in and get all these chart books. And all I appreciate is your time. So we're getting to this area. Let's see how the market does if we get a little bit of a blip. Okay, so we've seen some orders pulled. Let's see what happens when we get into this area, if we do get there. So you notice how we saw a little mini blip, which was just above this mini one, if you can see here. Little bit of a trigger, couple of ticks, some stops triggered. That's what happens when you see a blip. Now we're seeing these traders are now stacking these orders. Buyers are chewing through them. We're going to have a little bit of size come off here because they've got someone on the bid, someone on the offer. And see how the market reacts. You're looking to see some more absorption here. Okay, like that. That's the exact type of behavior you want to be seeing. Just like that. It's like I couldn't have drawn it up any better, to be honest. And this is your move. That's it. It goes down to the next large point is done. You've got your 7-8 ticks. Painless. You know? And the correlation with this was when NQ happened. Notice how we had a little bit of a blip, we then saw absorption. These guys started to show their offers, right, with some size. They got filled and then they just smashed it down. And the bid was pulled as well. And now your target is going to be like here. Don't get greedy. Don't think you're going to just all of a sudden go and smash these levels. You know, get out, take your painless 7-8 ticks. Do that 3 times a day. You can retire by the time you're 40. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, these are just guidelines, right? I'm just randomly drawing these. It's not as if they're going to happen right at the rectangle. When you zoom into a chart, right? When you zoom out a little bit, every little mini pullback, there will be people that will have stops triggered. So there'll be stops triggered here, if you can see that. There'll be stops triggered here. There'll be a lot that will be triggered here and more up here. And shit, if the market does get up here, then there's going to be tons more sell side because all this negative delta that doesn't get stopped out, you know, is going to be stopped out up here. But to be honest, people that have then sold all this negative delta, it's not you and I because we're not making this go down, so they need to protect their position as well, you know. But then they then need to sell price down to start getting out their position, you know. And this is exactly where the price is just going from these larger orders and stuck in this range. And you need to start seeing absorption there, and you need to be quick. That's the thing. Like this, you're not always going to be right. You know, I know I'm saying this. You've seen me losing trades, but when the market conditions are good and you identify this you should be. We saw that this trade was like probably less than a minute. You're out 6 7 ticks done down to here. You know, you're out. If you want to get greedy and hold it, then that's up to you. But I think you're going to be struggling again. We now need to see some real aggressive size come in here to crack these levels because we're doing the same thing. There's going to be more buyers that are looking to get in round about these levels. Let me just check and see where the low of this was. It's 21.75, and look at that. It's already exactly already exactly where the large orders are. So if prices to get down here, we're going to need to see some real size, and there's no way ES is going to do that alone. It's going to have, its friends at the right hand side here. It's going to need to have its buddies moving at the same time so that there's some more size pulling off. And that's pretty much it. To be honest with you guys, you just need to spend time staring at these damn charts, putting in the time. There's nothing else to it. Time, screen time, learning not to be greedy. Don't be a dick when you're wrong. Take your loss. You're better to be wrong and take a few than hold it for 20, 30 ticks. Then you've used up all your capital for the day. You know. Right. Let's refresh this and get a fresh perspective. So we see the offer is stacked right now, but we'll see if these orders are real. That's just been pulled. So there's more absorption. You can see there wasn't 100 there. So someone is continually looking then to absorb. But until we're in this little range here, you're just guessing, right? There's nothing. The objective of what you're looking to do is if you're looking to get long, you need to be getting long at these sort of areas here. The trouble is, if you wait for this one down here, you might not get it. And then if you get this order down here, then you're not really going to get, your 5 6 ticks. If you get this order here, right, and the market moves in your direction pretty quickly, if you get filled in the middle of this rectangle, just say, and you get to target the next point, you're going to be like a 12 ticks, which is decent, you know. And then you never know, the market then may start getting in. And when the order flow is cutting through prices, it's what you want to be seeing. Like right now, this is shit. To be honest with you, to put it absolutely bluntly, there's no point of me sugarcoating it. This is not it. There's no volume. So twiddle your thumbs in here. We're not really going to see anything happen. We've got an hour left of trading really. So the hour of action. The market's either going to break this way. You would like to think that after this huge bid of the day, there's going to be some profit taking. And we're maybe going to go and fill out this area down here. You would like to think, but we've just literally. So here's another volume, a low volume node here. See how the market respects it when it goes down here. Now, what is this exact price? 5318.25. 5318.25. Okay, roughly we're more order. Wow. Out of all the things that would happen today, I would be less surprised if we just went straight bid again and chewed through everything. That would mean we would have a double extension of the initial balance high, which is just crazy. Have you guys got any other questions about what you're seeing? Russell's trying to tick down here. Yeah, if you've not yet joined the Discord, feel free. It's in the About Us thing or channel about page. You can find all the links that are in there. I don't know if it's actually in the description of this video. I need to see. If you've not got this platform and you want to try it out, there's a link in the description for it. And then there's a link to how to read the DOM, which I'm explaining here, but it's maybe easier to rewatch it and review it on there. I definitely prefer trading the AM session, 100%. I think the first couple of hours of the US session is good. Bonds are moving, treasuries, you know. Once something happens here, so we see how the market reacts. If we're going to blip through, NQ's bidding, the Dow and Russell are trying to themselves. So we'll see if the market's going to sell off. What happens if we're doing it again? So watch for a blip in price. We'll clear and clear. We'll get rid of this delta here. Okay, so we've seen some sell orders come in down here for negative delta, but the buyers need to be ripping through here, and we're out of a low volume area as well. So we've just literally ticked this high. It's hard to be taking that exactly, but notice that the market is literally doing this to the tick, to be honest with you. NQ's trying. NQ bids here, we should see a little bit of a blip. So let's see if we see a little blip through prices. But yeah, overall I much prefer the AM session. This is just choppy a lot of the time. Right, let's see the action. NQ busts the high here. We're going to see this uptick. Okay, and watch the order flow that comes in. Okay, so someone's still looking to absorb. Let's see if the buyers are going to take it. There's just 300 been absorbed. So if they come in with some size, literally to tick higher. So we've just seen there the guts of 1,000 contracts absorbed in those three prices. You want to now be seeing NQ drop and for some size to come in to see if they're done. So buyers still happy to absorb at the minute. You need to see these orders been pulled and some size to come in. If NQ drops here, this will get down. We'll see price go down to this, roughly this area, if we do get a correction here, a little mini correction. But you can see, do you see how we're seeing a real battle at these areas? You know, the market should, if it was to be then dropping, it should be then reversing pretty quickly from here. But you need a catalyst to happen with NQ. So you just need to pay attention. The bid is still stacked here as well, which is a little bit alarming. So you need one of two things. You either need the bid to be pulled aggressively, or you need sellers to really start stepping in. Right now, sellers are coming in, but the buyers are still absorbing right now. So if you were to take this, you're still doing okay, but it's getting pretty close. To be honest, NQ needs to do something. You can see NQ still been absorbed. It needs to crack here. If NQ can crack here with some size, then this will go in. The buyers have absorbed 117 here, which is a lot on NQ, and 102 here. Sellers need to crack here, and then we need to see price going down. See this? Do you see the amount of absorption happening? It's pretty much the same price on. It's not good. It's not good if you're selling, to be honest. All it now takes is you need these to be pulled and go back down. There we go. There's some size in NQ. If we can crack here, this will be down. It's a really sticky area here. It's not often you see NQ moving as slow like that. It's also not helped that Russell is actually ticking its high of the range. It's not ideal. So you can see that the fight that happens at these areas, I'm not some sort of rocket scientist. I've been looking at this long enough where there's always fighting at these areas. NQ pops and now you're done. If it's pulling, if this has got legs, notice the size has just come in and it's been pulled. You took a little bit of heat if you got in here, but now your ultimate target's here. You need NQ to start hitting if you're wanting to get out, but now you've got your 6-7 ticks. Now I would not be taking a loss in this position, to be honest. You shouldn't be anyway, right? You want to see sellers still getting aggressive and these buyers to be pulling. NQ needs to tick down. So we'll see this 30 here is the next level with NQ. See if I hopefully don't miss it while I'm doing this. NQ takes this out. It's got this 30 lot to take out. And they've shown the 84, so now your bid. So now this is, if NQ doesn't drop off here, we're now going to revisit here. you know. So now your opportunity to get down here is out. You need to try and be getting out here. You know, I wouldn't be waiting for this to come back. The opportunity there for this to have some more downside was there. You know, now you're gonna have to then sit and wait through this to come back because you need NQ to start been hitting aggressively for another tick up, and this is the exact reason as to why I say this price action sucks. You know, but the trade there was, we saw the concept of this exact trade was we saw the absorption up here, right? We saw the market blip in, we saw absorption, right? We saw a little bit of fighting here between the large players. NQ then gave us a tick down, and then you had, you had the guts of how many ticks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you add something like 8 to 10 ticks depending on your entry. So I probably should have elaborated a little bit more in that video. Now people are asking me the question. It depends. It depends on the market, and it depends on what you're looking to see, right? So when the bid and ask, so the recent bid and ask columns, or recent bid volume and recent ask volume, right? If you wanted to aggregate like how it is, right, you then need to clear these manually. You know, like so. I clear these manually. If you've got the recent bid volume and ask volume reset, it will aggregate at this price, right? For example. But if it goes away for 2.5 seconds and then comes back at that price, it will then start aggregating again. It just depends on your own personal preference. The way that I have this structured for the stream is it's easier for me to explain. So I have basically just aggregated all prices and then I'll clear it when I want. Do you know what I mean? Because it's going to be hard for me to explain things to you guys when there's, you know, like price comes back down here and I'm talking about something and I can't remember there's 197, you know, was left in the offer and it was absorbed, you know. So if you want to have it like this where it's aggregating at prices, you know, so every time it goes away and gets back it aggregates, then you basically need to turn that to no, and then you need to put it to like 100,000 seconds or whatever, or milliseconds, so it just doesn't change. If you want it so that, you know, you're not having to constantly change it so that prices are recent, you then need to change the recent bid volume and recent ask volume on price change to yes, and then set it to 2.5 seconds. Because if you set it any less than 2.5 seconds, every time it moves, it will just be refreshing, right? So that was my answer to that. Feel free to ask any questions about that, man. If that makes sense. All depends on what you're looking to see. So we're now back at this area. We have got the next point that being here within the top of it, but we're still seeing the battle. The battle happen. NQ is literally causing everyone to hate their life if they're selling, because ES is never going to drop while NQ is ripping like this. For example, it's literally taking up all the other equities. Other equities don't necessarily need to be that strong. If NQ is ripping like that, it's going to bring up the other equities, right? Yeah, but that's a good question, man. I'll need to do. It's hard. I'll need to do one about volume profile. To be honest with you, that would be good. The bit of the left, volume profile and delta. Let me know what you guys would like to see, because I think I need to put out some more videos about how to customize these things and what platform you guys using. Obviously, the content that I'm putting out for tutorials is only going to be related to Sierra, right? And it's probably how you guys found me. And it would be interesting as well. Can you let me know how did you manage to find the channel? You know, because you can see I've not really been doing that for this long, so I appreciate you guys being here. Hopefully, you can get some value from it, and I really appreciate all the subscribers, which is nice. Okay, interesting. Let's see what happens if we can break through this. We should see a blip here. This is now the top, the second area. So there's going to be some orders round about these prices here. Again, watch for the battle happening. NQ is still ripping. As soon as we see a tick down in NQ, we should see a little mini sell off. So you need to pay attention to the numbers that are being absorbed. Okay. Not great that the offer's been pulled. There's a blip. You notice how it just cuts through prices. Okay. You're then seeing a blip happen. It's just cutting through. There's the stop run. So there's the stop run there. Sellers now, as an example, need to start getting aggressive. Okay. And you need to see absorption on the offer here. But this is not great to be selling when NQ is the high here. NQ needs to be ripping, you know. But notice again, there's tons of action going on here. There's always going to be battles and loads of orders. You know, we're seeing about 1,000 contracts absorbed here. If orders can be pulled in the bid, we should see this crackdown. NQ, wow, the Dow is also at the high. The all equities are absolutely mooning at the moment. So it's context again for you taking these positions, right? But the one thing is you'll be able to see is the areas where stops are going to be. You're likely going to see absorption and new trades coming in, right? Or loads of trades coming in. I mean, look at this price here. We've seen like 1,500 contracts absorbed at this one price. If if NQ drops down and we get back down to this area, I was looking for Tierra tutorials and found your channel. Then you came from the page live, came up, found your watching YouTube. Oh nice. So you guys are all Sierra peeps. Great. Well, I need to put out some more things for Sierra then, because you know Sierra's a great platform, but my God, have I lost the years of my life on it. Now we have here. It would be true fashion um, to sweep here and then sell off. You know. So you understand as well when we're talking about this that everything needs to be coming into play, right? If every equity market is going bid, it's making things a little bit more difficult for you. But you're always going to see just above a stop area, right? So the top of this rectangle, then get a couple of ticks here. You're always going to see new trades come in, over 2,000 contracts absorbed, and then you want to see the bid been pulled. I need to see aggression in the equities across the board. And then if in a good market conditions, I know I'm harping on about this, but you should just see like a drilling motion into price, you know. And the buyers here, by the way, are trying to be pushing price up. I mean, they're trying to scare people right now. They're saying, right, I'm looking to buy 200, you know. NQ is the culprit, needs to trying to be drive price down. Would you guys like a volume profile video and how to set it up properly and what you're looking at and how to right align them and all that good stuff? What do you guys think of the DOMs? Do you think the DOMs are laid out nicely? So let's see how the market reacts to this 200 lot. It's a little bit concerning that they're flashing, but if you did take a fill round about here and your stop would have been pretty tight round about this area, you're nearly out. Your 200 lots is going to be your 10 ticks. But we're going to need to see a heck of selling in order to crack these levels. If we do, I just don't. It's unlikely the way the market is going at the moment. NQ is going to need to shit itself in order for this to happen. Are you guys looking to take any trades, or are you just watching at the moment? Right, come on NQ, if you continue to drop here, buddy, this will... Eeeh. One thing you like better is the combined bid and ask pulling and stacking. Then set pulling from ask to green and adding bid to green and then vice versa the other side, so it's... What is the colour? Ah, you mean the... you mean how I've got this set up, so you've got, like, for example, blue on this side is buying, you know, how I've got them yellow, for example. Yeah, to be honest with you, believe it or not, I actually used to have them like that. If that's what you're meaning, I used to have, you know, this been blue and and sorry, no, this been red and the negative at the minute been bid. You know, do you know what I'm saying? Like the colours corresponding with it. I used to have that, but I found to be honest, because they were darker colours, I wasn't reading them the same. Like I like them to be very prominent, so I can't miss them. To be honest. Is that what you're meaning? You mean just set the bid pooling and stacking is the same color as what buying and what selling is? NQ's going. Let's see if it can take everything down. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. So bid and ask together with X amount of labels in one column. Let me see. This one you're talking about, right? Wait, we'll put it in beside price and see what you're... Right, I see what you mean for ask. It's combined bid and ask, combined bid and ask, market orders, color. Okay, so let's add this and see what you're saying. I see what you're meaning. Let me just have a look and see. I'm curious. I've normally always separated them out. Okay, so it's completely taken them out, right? So you're just saying though that you then basically have them on one line like this, right? And you don't have them separated, is that what you're meaning? Yeah, okay. Hmm. And I see what you mean, then you're looking to change the colours. And do that. Let's just do a little experiment while we're at it, because there's not really too much going on. We've had a little sell off there. So it is the bid market depth pooling and stacking. Trade DOM, bid market depth pooling, stacking, bid market depth pooling, stacking. Is it this one? So it should be negative. I think it might be. Is it down a bit? Here it's here. So trade DOM, bid market depth pooling, stacking. You're saying we'll make it the same color here, and then negative. Ask market depth. Let's see what this looks like to see what you're seeing. Aha! There we go. Right? Is that what you're meaning? Is this what you mean? Sorry, that you're how the colors are separated. Is that what you're saying? Yes. Yeah, I see what you mean. I suppose the advantage to this, right, um, is I can actually have the DOM a little bit smaller, to be honest. Because one of the other advantages too is you're not it's in your same peripheral, right? Rather than having it here and here, to be honest. I see what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had them separately. I had obviously the separate columns, but I think to be honest, if you can keep it all in the one visual, right? And actually, let me see this. We're turning this into a Sierra session now. Right, so I've got it in here. I want it to be beside this, so let me put this down. Let me see what this looks like. Okay, no, absolutely not. Here. Aha. So what do you think about that? Is that easier to see for you? Are you talking about the number? I would love if you could. I know I've got a study for it where you can effectively reduce the number of I don't really need to know the 5 and the 3 in ES, to be honest. I'd like to just know the 26 and a half, 26 three quarters, 27 even. So you're saying go to chart settings, display limit price displayed to n right characters. Okay, so chart settings. So chart settings display limit price. Okay, and then you're saying set it to 5. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, okay, you the man. Oh, nice. I was adding in some wonky study for that. Fuck me. Well done. Oh, this is great. I can make the DOM smaller now rather than taking up all the screen. Great. That's a great shout, mate. Well done. Oh, I didn't change the last one, did I? Or I did? Oh, we can't. Does that maybe work? Do you need to increase that? This doesn't seem to work for the Dow, does it? Okay, with 2 secs and we'll adjust that. Anyway, it's fine. You can't have every one of them small. So that's nice. Now we can try and make these a little bit smaller. The thing is, we can't. What's not great is so. Uh, so we can drag these along a little bit so we can see them, which is great. That's a good shout, mate. I like your style. Makes a big difference, actually. That's one of the things I like about I was liking about Jigsaw, that you could do that. And I know when checking out Sierra, someone actually come out with, with some study to sort it. We'll just drag that and make that bigger, or we'll sort the chart. But anyways, so look at that lesson in Sierra. Nicely done, buddy. I appreciate it. And since we've been talking, the market has done not really a lot. Nothing really has happened. We're gonna make this one a little bit bigger, and then we're gonna recenter. Oh, did Reddit sort it for you? Nice one. No, I know there's a study. I've actually got the study here. It's like a custom study, but the problem was I found that the price was disappearing a little. But this is much better. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing, man. Quality of life. Some of the advantages. I mean, this pulling and stacking here. I've had that other way for literally years, to be honest. So I'm all about maybe trying to have this in your peripheral a little bit more, so that you can stare at the same price and see this. The less you need to move your eyeballs, the better. clear. The only other thing I don't know if we've got is rather than doing these stupid lines, man, I don't know if you've managed to crack this. I would love if there was a text column like Jigsaw. It would be great. So, and I know, I can go into tools and do stationary text and shit, but that is just too long. I want to just click and type, you know. Like I see absorption, I just write, absorb, absorb over 2 levels or something, quickly. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a way to do that, please let me know. That would be good. And then some form of momentum tail would be nice as well. That's the only they've just conquered one of the things is what I liked about Jigsaw, so thanks for that. The only other two things I would like is momentum tails and um the like a custom text column that I can just type shit instead of having to put keys on and put like an A to absorb and stuff. So we'll now delete these levels. This one will still be relevant down here. So let's see where the high is and watch how price is in this range. 30.25, so it's right here. So what's the high? Let's see if we get the sweep of the gods, and then if we have the last 30-minute sell-off back down here, if we capitulate, or are we going to end the day in a spike for the second day in a row? What do you guys think? There we go. NQ's dropping a little. Let's see. It's a nightmare when they don't give you the last sweep. It always makes me a little bit like. But we have seen another ton of over 2 contracts absorbed here, and we are seeing sellers willing to stack a little bit more. But this is pretty much is all I do. When I see this at overnight highs and overnight lows and previous day highs and previous day lows when we're in a sort of rotational day, I made my money in the AM session today, and thank God I didn't trade anymore because I suck at trend days, to be honest. Especially we discussed these ones, that it's just a straight line. They're really difficult to trade because there's no pullbacks, you know. But when the market's like this, I would always be a little bit hesitant to fade until we get a slight break of this level because it still gets stops to trigger. Um, I should really put a hotkey for this horizontal line, to be honest. I want to ideally be seeing a little sort of blip through this level and then close back, and then we can see a capitulation. That would be ideal. But as you get, we've got the 15 minutes till the crazy volume comes in. Still here hasn't got that functionality. I've got the label column in the DOM and then set labels from other charts and study overlay, but nothing for text writing. Just silly can make such a good software and no text box. I know. I know. Fucking hell. There's no text box, man. Fuck's sake. Right, so we just tick the high. See, this is also annoying. You know, fading the high without a sweep for me is like, you know. But we're now seeing if NQ can crack here, we should see a little bit of a drop. But in general, I tend to look for when we see at really key inflection points, a decent swing point where the market's pulled off a decent level. Typically, the first time the market comes back, we do a little mini sweep of it, and then we see sell off. It's a simple way to be getting your sort of 10 to 20 tick range, depending on how nice the market is to you. But it's never as forgiving for you when you know when it goes and ticks the high, right? To be honest, the giveaway is the fact that there's so much absorption. I mean, look at the amount of contracts that are executed here. It's always a place to try and get involved, right? YM's also doing the same. Some nice absorption. NQ leading the pack. If it can crack here, if we can see some aggressive selling, this will tick down. On the speaking of tick down, do you guys use tick strike or anything of that nature? I normally have it on when I'm trading. I've got the full platform, which is good. It's not too expensive. Ugh. But yeah, if you guys have been trading for a while, what VIX conditions do you prefer? Because this is, you want to see some bigger candles, more volume, slightly more volatility, so that when you are having the sweeps and market is doing this, like that, that's the type of behavior you want to be seeing. That's more like it. And everything originated from them. It's crazy how they literally take it right to these levels every time, In fact, they did actually tick that. I just wasn't paying attention. Shit. See, look at that. This is why streaming is hard, because that actually ticked. That actually swept there, and I wasn't looking. So it gave you the sweep, and then it gave you your 10 to 15 ticks, you know, and then you're done. Glorious stuff. So let's see if they can see. NQ is just not following suit here, is it? Normally it is. We've got this crazy volume. We're going to clear it a couple of minutes before, and for people who have not seen it, the volume that is in. I like for you guys to see it if you don't normally catch the stream, but the volume that comes in at 9 o'clock for about 3 minutes is crazy. Sorry, it's not 9 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock in the US. I'm GMT. I'm saying 9 o'clock. You guys know what that is. You're in a completely different time zone. So we're going to need a little bit of a correlation here in equities for this to drop. If NQ pumps more, then this will drop. But it seems to be that ES and YM are lagging at the moment. Right, we're going to clear this. Look at the amount of volume here. Jesus Christ. Honestly, and people say, "Oh, they hunt my stops," They hunt my stops. Yeah, I'm sure they want to hunt your two lot when they've just executed in 5 minutes like 15,000 contracts. You know what I mean? It's just so stupid. Honestly, people that actually trade for years, man, and actually look at this, you realize all that ICT nonsense is just bullshit. And it's crazy, it's sad because the chap's got a million subscribers or whatever. So if you Google, I don't know, whatever you Google or YouTube to find that, it's one of the first ones you're going to come up. It's just absolutely plagued with fair value gaps, breaker blocks, turtle soup shit. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. How you can determine any of that without knowing the flow that comes in is just bananas to me, to be honest with you. But if the market's continual theme right now, it's just buying absolutely everything. Delta's again hitting the roof. Let's see if we're gonna have a nice juicy stop run, or if we are. For that to happen, NQ is gonna need to start catching up. So we're gonna start clearing here in a wee sec. They just swept a high right in time for this. Now place your bets, okay? In the next 6 minutes, you just listed my entire feed. Turtle soup is my favourite pastime to read. Such bull. I know, what the fuck? Turtle soup. I mean, honestly, what a name. Right, are we there's so much buying coming in at the minute. This is just absolutely chewing through prices. But we've got so much volume coming in 6 minutes. So it would not surprise me if we take all the stops up here and finish down here. Would not surprise me at all. This is the conditional behavior you expect to happen at these levels, where you have a boost for a stop run and then you then shit yourself all the way down here, because you've got two different orders, right? I'm not saying this is what's going to happen because the buying is really aggressive, but you have two different order types. You have everyone that's purchasing and buying to get up here. Okay, now that is broke. They bought the breakout. You have everyone that's been short. They've then had to cover. So there's tons of action at these levels. They've already covered. And then if this market gets below down here, everyone that's bought here needs to cover, and then you have a capitulation. You know, ES doesn't seem to be following suit the same. You know, sorry, NQ. I'm saying, but it's always a nightmare to stand in front of the train when you're seeing this. But the fact that the market is going up, I'm going to clear this in the next couple of minutes. But the amount of volume that's going to come in, this market can drop 15, 20 ticks in a couple of minutes with the amount of volume that's going to come in. So we'll start clearing. But to be honest, if you're not made your money by now in the day, if you've no business trading, you shouldn't be trading the last 10 minutes anyway. I know exactly. How crazy is that? I mean, to be honest, now it's hard to come back, right? We've just absolutely smashed through it. I mean, this is the type of volume, that you want to see throughout the day. Not in the last 5 minutes. But as I said, as you know, man, the next 4 minutes, this could literally all be taken back. And if it does, there's going to be extreme puking because right now you'd like to think who is going to be selling here, you know, right now, you've already been stopped out if you did take the fade, but there was nothing really conducive at the start. This was the opportunity here to fade. The fact it gets bid back up, that is just not a good sign. Buyers are extremely strong, just relentless. See, to be honest with you, just buying and holding the stock market is probably the best strategy known to man in trading. Just buy and hold the thing. No wonder Warren Buffett just chillaxes all his life. I think it's very, very rare. And if the times that it does, collapse, but the trouble is with that is, you need shit tons of money because you can't really do it in leverage. You need to be putting in hundreds of thousands of pounds or maybe a couple of million. Right, so we've got 2 minutes. We're going to clear. In fact, we might as well clear. There's tons of uh, selling in a minute. So, chances, what are we going to do? Are we going to, I should probably do a poll, but I'm not going to. Just let me know what you're thinking. Do you think for this last 10 minutes here, because there's going to be shit tons of volume in 2 minutes, are we going to go bid, or are we going to just take everyone out here and come back and just finish in this range? Because that would be brutal, because if it gets too far down, people that have bought are going to have to start liquidating soon. So we're going to clear these and see. Here we go. This is before, and this is not even where the tons of volume come in. We just see in the next minute, it's gonna go crazy, man. Right. Okay, we've already taken back majority of the move. If they can break and close below here, this is going to be painful for the buyers, and it's the most classic aggressive stop run known. But to be honest with you, there's no way you're. There's. I mean, this is just not on. It's just too aggressive, really. This is now more of a break retest, to be honest with you. Look at the amount of volume here. This is fucking craziness. Let's see if they can take it right back down. You need to have all this buying that need to be closing the positions, because surely there's not going to be tons of open interest, right? They're going to need to close. If they can crack here, we're going to end up back down here. Let's see. There we go. Absolutely classic aggressive stop run. How many ticks was that from there? Jesus, man, 24 ticks. They really went at it there for that one. That was an aggressive one. Sadly, oh god, honestly. What a trade to finish the day if anyone caught that. But I can tell you one thing, I'm not anticipating a 24 tick run like that. I'm stopped out before if I was to be taking that. You know what I mean? And we did go right to the initial balance high extension too. Wow. But classic. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the amount of volume that comes in, it's almost like you'd have to take the fade at that time if you were to be fading. So everyone's now had to liquidate, and the reason as well why I think this does this is there's such a small amount of trades that finish in open interest that actually carry them over, right? Probably what 95% or something, maybe even more than that, is closed in the day. So majority of these are day trade positions, and only large firms are carrying them over, right? So they need to close their positions, and clearly the markets went super bid the whole day, so they need to jam it back down. And for the last 2 days in a row, pre-market it's just drifted higher. To be honest with you, because then they get to get the price all the way up there, they then get to sell it higher and drop it down, and then they get to buy it back up in pre-market if it's super bullish. It doesn't really matter that price goes back down to them because they're just going to go and buy it back up anyway. They can just work the bid and offer in pre-market. Doesn't cost them a lot of money, and they can jam it up 30 ticks. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that people forget as well. There's shit tons of volume right now where they get the opportunity to close their positions, but when it comes to pre-market, you know, the last 4 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised in the last 4 minutes, right? There's probably as much volume traded in the last 10 minutes, for example, than there is nearly the first like 5-6 hours of pre-market. There's just no volume. So these guys can jam price all the way up here, get to close the positions, and then when it comes to pre-market, they can just start to buy it back up, and it doesn't cost them much money to do it. What do you guys think on that? Do you ever view trading like that? You know, and do you ever view it that it can be the same firm that is working the bid and offer? So by working that, I mean they are actively buying and selling at the same time. Now, I know they say, oh, you can't hedge in futures. They've got two different accounts. You know what I mean? They'll have a client account, but they have to execute positions to get them off for their clients. And they'll have their own accounts that they're trading, but if they actually make margin. They don't need to make profit on their client account because they're just there getting a commission to execute positions, for example. This is absolutely shit itself, this price. Jesus Christ. But what do you guys think of the volume there? That's absolutely bananas. That's absolutely bananas how that works. But our calls have been relatively close so far this session. Just not as aggressive as that, to be honest. I was never anticipating that. So I think I'll put out a volume profile video. I mean, to be honest, it's not really that complicated, but I think there's a couple of nuances that you need to have, and when in that, I'll create a guide on how to clear your delta like this, so it tells you what's happening in the recent prints. So you can move with the DOM. I'm going to try this out and see what this looks like as a recommendation from SP to see what this looks like, as I like the idea of keeping it more in my peripheral, to be honest with you. But we'll test it and see what we think. Ultimately, does it make any difference if it's one side or the other, right? It's just a visual aid, but we'll see if it happens. Look at that, right back in the range, close of play, end of session. Now, after those 5 minutes, the market kind of trickles down a little bit, and the market will just know, barcode now for for the next 30 40 minutes. It's never going to do anything crazy. If anything, we may have a little bit more downside, but now the volume is starting to taper off ever so slightly. Yeah, exactly. And sadly, mate, the thing is the crappy Fugazi, nonsense fair value gap trend lines is what gets more attention. If we can try and get this out to more people, then more people are actually going to going to stand a chance in trading. And if I can shorten people's learning curve to do it, because I've spent years of pain in trading and trying to get people just to stop strategy hopping and see the market for what it truly is, like an auction, they'll be in a much better position. You know, the more people go in to find people with fair value gaps and trading view and just random stuff that they probably don't even know themselves as an edge, they've not really got much chance, to be honest. They end up losing 2 3 years of your life, and unless you're a really driven person, people are going to give up, to be honest with you. So because they start at the wrong places, they don't actually get to see the cycle. And in my opinion, now that the barrier to entry is so low for trading, no wonder 90% or 85% or whatever the number is fail, because you've got people just relying on YouTube to try and find strategies, people using TradingView that doesn't even have order flow tools and doesn't even have tick data, and expecting to beat firms that have got billions at their disposal, you know, and have been doing this for years. It's their job. No wonder they're going to lose, you know. And this is where you've got these prop firms that come in. They just advertise that. Let's get these dudes in. They've really got no idea what they're doing, and let's just take their money, you know. Heck, even for experienced traders, prop firms are hard, man. You know, they're literally made that way. They give you a set of rules. Your account shrinks. You have to jump through hoops to get withdrawals. You can only trade a certain amount. It's not ideal. But as we know, you need to have shit tons of capital in trading to actually make any money, right? So no problem. Really glad you enjoyed it. I'm probably going to try and do this daily at some stage, and I think what I'm going to do is I need to start recording my actual trading, because to be honest with you, it's hard to come on stream. Like I'm a trader. I'm not really a streamer, right? As you can tell with my videos, I don't really edit things. I'm not. Maybe once upon a time I'll give that a go and stuff, but I'm trying to provide valuable content here instead of cool intros and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's just not really my thing. I'm really knowledgeable at the things I know about, um, and it would take a long time to start learning that editing thing. And then again, that takes time out of my actual trading. And I wanted to do this to build a community and find other like-minded traders and stuff, you know. And if I manage to the YouTube channel manages to get some, sorry, my mic died. If the YouTube channel manages to get somewhere, then fantastic. But if it doesn't, it's cool, and we can all try and grow together and try and um, make ourselves more accountable and stop being a dick and holding trades when you shouldn't, and stop having hopium. Take your licks, trade the next day. You never know what flow is going to come in tomorrow. You never know when you get in a sell right now how simple the bid is going to be pulled. And if you use all your cannons and you use all your money today, you can't do that tomorrow. So tomorrow's another day, man. So traders need to stop this boom and bust nonsense where they say, ah, shit, I've lost 2 trades in a row, just go all in. I see so many people do that. Oh, I've started an account and I've now dusted it off. You know, the one thing before I know I keep on rambling on here, but the the one thing that 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 people forget about trading, and this is the hard part about it, is it's one of the only jobs or hustles, whatever which way you want to put it, that you actually don't get paid the same as grinding at the charts. For example, in my opinion, the more you look at these charts, right, and it's not within the context, you will start making up trades. You know, you'll literally start seeing shit and talk yourself into it with confirmation bias, and then you end up spunking away all of the money that you made when you were meant to be trading. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've done that, to be honest. And that's one of the disadvantages of streaming, because it's hard to come in and talk and commentate and discuss and pay attention to order flow. For example, if I was trading and I saw this, I would have noticed the tick. I didn't even notice that I ticked the high because that was the trade setup. I was saying, no, it's not ticked the high, and it had. So it gave you the confirmation there of absorption, and then you took the sell off and you were out here. You know, you're out for your 10, 12 ticks or whatever, and that was you done. You know, to get this, the fact that this ended this way and then went bid, you've got no business shorting that again, to be honest with you, because it's already ticked the high. You know what I mean? So I think I think that's the way to do it. You know, and hopefully you come in and you can see it's just a different way of viewing markets, right? Because I've got no idea what you've learned in the past, what other people have learned in the past. All I can tell you is what my experience is, and typically, if you look for areas simply where large traders are going to get involved, you're bound to do better than just randomly picking areas yourself. To be honest, do you know what I mean? That's just the way I see it personally. Because if we've seen, look at the amount of contracts in the screen it's traded, thousands and thousands of contracts. We are trading like four lots, four contracts. We are literally not making a single dent in anything. So you need, we're not going to move the market. As soon as you press the buy button, you need other people to also press the buy button, or people execute market orders at the ask, in order for you to get positive in that position. And you need to try and put things in your favor as to where most likely in the chart is more people going to buy, and not retail traders. Where likely are large firms and people that can influence the market, where are they looking to buy, and then obviously vice versa for selling, right? I hope that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Now, there is a camp where you just go all in on the the small accounts that you get from these firms and stuff, but I think you need to learn. It's better to learn habits, to be honest with you, because seriously, once you get the hang of this and you learn how to keep your red days down, right? No more. As a rule of thumb, if you keep your red days in the same ballpark as your green days, you're golden. Very, very simply. Because then typically traders put in more green days than red days. If you're not doing that, then you will. But where traders tend to go wrong is they have really good green days, and then they have a red day that just knocks out 3 or 4 green days, or they hit the loss limits or whatever thresholds they've got set for themselves. You know. So the trick is, if you're not seeing the market for that day, just take a managed stop, you know, and then learn good habits and drive things forward that way, so that when you get to the accounts and you get to real money, you're just repeating the same process. Do you know what I mean? That's the way to be doing it, in my opinion. And Rome wasn't built in a day, you know. Jeez, when you start to work for companies, you have like a year probation, you know, a year to test things out. People jump into trading, and because they see people clicking buttons and it goes up and then they make money, they expect to make money the first day. Jeez, never gonna happen. So I hope you guys enjoyed. the stream. I'll try and put out some more content for you regarding the volume profile and setting some hotkeys up and so on for clearing the delta. But if you leave a comment below in this video and let me know, or in the Discord, let me know what content you would like to watch. If you want me to put together something for you think would be valuable, so that would be great. So if you're not joined Discord, make sure and join. Make sure and check out the links in the description for some of the videos. If you want to learn how to read the DOM or configure it on Sierra charts. Okay, and also if you want to feel generous and buy my coffee, you can do so as well, but I don't expect you to do that. So you guys have a great evening, and we'll catch up tomorrow. I'll be chilling in the Discord later, so feel free to ask any questions and we can chillax. Okay guys, peace.